life's sweet line. Sheriff Miller by his side. Lively blue reds, hearts of blood.
And away we go.
Hey, good morning, Bob.
Better late than never here.
Well, you folks out there in Wonder World getting ready to take a nap.
When was the last time
to do it? We'll put you to sleep here in a little bit. First of all, I want to say that Brian Miller, my co-host, producer of the show, couldn't be with us today because he thinks it's more important to be at a sheriff commission meeting. Can you believe that, Bob? I mean, what's more important? Brian Miller's sports show.
The nerve doing
or
his
the
job.
Sheriff's Department's committee meeting. I mean, what's he going to do? Ask for money? He'll get it because he's doing a great job. We wish him well this morning. Anyway, that being said, before we start the show this morning, and I want to thank God for letting me wake up another morning. This is another great day for all of us that are here on Earth. But I just, Facebook, I don't do very much Facebook, as most of you know. But I just turned it on here, City of Big Rapids. The news is Depot Trailhead update. More asphalt has been added for parking single vehicles and those with trailers. A base has been installed for the new Ivan Iller sculpture. I wonder what that is. Iller?
They're putting some art in.
Who's Ivan?
Ivan the Great? He's a sculptor, I think.
Yeah, it's a sculpture.
You'll have to ask Fred.
Anyway, they should put a Cody Wyman sculpture up there. Cody's the engineer for the Big Rapids. He's responsible for all this up and down stuff that we've had here in Big Rapids, mostly up. And it does look pretty nice if you want to get on their website, City of Big Rapids. It's pretty over there. It's a nice pavilion. It's right over there on Rails to Trails.
Yeah, they're waiting to put the sewer in and all, so they have to get permits for that.
Well, I'd hope the sewer's already in. The asphalt's laid. You don't put sewer in afterwards.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's all done, yeah. So It's going to be a nice washroom in there and a nice pavilion. So,
by the way, we need to thank our sponsor, Big Rapids Tire. I didn't do that at the beginning of the show, so thank you to Big Rapids Tire, our sponsor.
And
there you go.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Roxanne's on hiatus. She's on when school's in session, but she'll be back on for the fair.
Well, we can still talk about her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We love Roxanne. So yeah.
Say it, Bob.
Okay. So Zot's Bar and Grill.
Yep. Right here in Big Rapids. All right. Well, that being said, this morning's guest is Ed Philion. You've been on before, Ed?
I have, yeah. A couple months ago.
And I had Ed come on this morning because, the inductees to the Ferris State Hall of Fame. Yesterday, Rex Schuberg and I talked about a little bit about it, and Rex is being inducted, and also Coach Pierce. And for you guys that listened to yesterday's program, you might as well turn it to your favorite other show, because we're going to talk a little bit about what we talked about yesterday.
A little bit, yeah.
But we don't have Rex. Yeah. We have Ed.
We also have
Jeff. Coach Pierce.
Say good morning to Coach Pierce. We'll make sure he's there. Hi.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning, guys.
Morning,
Good morning
Jeff.
to Big Rapids.
Yeah. You know, after we invited you to be on this morning, which were graciously, you accepted that, we should have just had you drive over here. You could have been in the studio. Are you in Bay City?
I am for about another 15 minutes, and then I'm heading to the UP.
Oh, you are?
It's home away from home.
Yeah. We got a big party going on up there in the end of June. We'll talk about that later, but let me drink my coffee here. Boy, that Curries coffee is good. It's cheap, too. But anyway, we talked a little bit about yesterday, about your life a little bit, Susie, and you being inducted and everything. I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to bring Ed in today because Ed was recruited by you, I believe, back in the 90s, and the dynasty started back then. But, you know, I was reading the Pioneer this morning that your little history of you, Jeff, and I wished I would have brought it because I would like to read it. I don't know if we can get it online or not, but your history of what you did in Big Rapids was quite to be proud of. You know, your family should be very proud of you. You came here in the late 70s, I believe, and played football for Nick Coso. And then you went and came back, and you ended up being a defensive man for for Coach Otterbein. And at that time, you guys were kind of rebuilding the football program at Ferris State, so you had to go out and recruit some great players to come here to make that happen. And then you did do that, but you Yes, revolutionized. My age is catching up to me. So, but anyway, the defense, and that really made the difference that the dynasty started then with the defense, wasn't it?
Well, it's all about people. And I was able to put together a group of guys that didn't want to take no for an answer and work together. And then once we got it rolling, we had a target on our chest for a while, and that was fine. We got people's undivided attention. It was guys like Ed Philion and Monty Brown and guys like that became leaders in our program and led by example, and also were the core of our group. And that one year, we were the number one defense in the country in Division II football with those guys on board. So that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to be able to step on the field and have the confidence that this is our day, and you're not going to take it from us. And that got us rolling for a while.
I think there's a ghost at Top Taggart Field. Last year we came in there as number one seed, I believe, for the playoffs, and Coach Anise there and company, and they were playing. Ed, help me out. Who were they playing? It was like the second or third round, I think it was, and I can't remember the name of the team. It doesn't really matter, I guess. Anyway, we were down the first half. It looked like that we might get beat here. And a lot of the fans were up there really getting on Ferris. I mean, like, come on, guys, start playing. And they're hooting and hollering at him like, oh, man, we're going to get beat today and we're all done, you know. And they were up by like 2 or 3 touchdowns. And I said to one of their Fairhaven fans, I said, well, you know what? I remember the year that Ferris was down by and again, I can't remember the team.
That was Saginaw Valley, I think.
Yeah.
And that snowball game.
Yeah, snowball. And we were down quite a bit, Ed. Right. Tell us about that game.
Well, I wasn't a part of the team, but I've heard the stories from a bunch of the players that have been, you know, we've been in contact ever since we played in the 90s. So we got a great core of guys that still believed. You know, they went on a run for 5 years here. You know, I think early on when I first came here in 1990, there wasn't expectations for us to win, and it took a little bit of time to get the players, and Coach Otterbein and Coach Pierce did a great job of recruiting, and we just had a great group of guys that really believed in each other, and we were tight. We did a lot of things together. So, you know, that second and third year, the momentum started changing, and our expectations as a football team and the program started changing, and then people started believing. And once you get that snowball rolling, it starts rolling downhill. You know, you had to push it uphill for the first couple of years, but after that, once it started rolling, going downhill, and, you know, the program did a great job for years, and then, you know, continuing today as well.
Did you and Billy come in the same time?
Billy, yes, we did. Yeah, we came in. Billy, I think, redshirted his first year, and I mean, he was a huge part of it.
Who was quarterback then? Do you remember who was?
It was Doug Arnold.
Oh, okay.
The first year was Doug Arnold, and then Billy took his job, and then Billy took that offense over. And, you know, Billy, his expectations on that side of the ball, and you have to have a quarterback that, you know, that doesn't really, you know, put up with a lot of stuff that, you know. So he did a great job on the offensive side of the ball of leading that group.
Yeah, you guys. But I remember that game. I was up there in the press box doing the clock. And we were changing a lot because I was watching the game more than I was the clock. But Billy, that second half, I mean, like, he scored like 4 touchdowns, didn't he, Coach? You remember that?
Oh, yeah. That was quite an interesting day. We started that day with about 6 inches of snow on the field.
Yeah.
And the challenging part of it was that the ground was not frozen, so they couldn't get on the field with the heavier equipment before the game to clear it off. So they started off with just taking a hand little snowblower that you use in your driveway and went around the perimeter of the field and went across the line, so you had somewhat of an idea if you were still on the field or not. And we learned some valuable lessons in that game on how to maneuver in 6 inches of snow. And we didn't quite have it down at the beginning, but that actually became an NCAA record at the time, was the biggest comeback in the history of Division II football. We were down by 28 points and came back and won the ball game basically in the last seconds of the game. I think we won 46-42 or something like that.
It was unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. And that again goes back to kind of what Ed was talking about, is, the mentality that we had. And it was like, it's not over until it's over, and you're not going to make us go away. So before this thing is all over and done with, we're going to find a way to make this happen, and we did. And it was something that became a mindset. We did a similar, set an NCAA record, I think a year or two after that, in a playoff game, and came back. But it was one of those kind of things. And once you get a target on your chest like that, everybody's shooting for you. So you're going to get everything they've got, because they want to take you down and so forth. And sometimes it's like a title fight. You're in there for a while, and then when it comes down towards the end, then the horsepower can take over and the mentality take over, and that's what we were able to do.
I'm going to read you what the Pioneer has in on you. Oh, I just knocked it off. Oh, my Lord. I'm so sorry, Bob. I'm sorry. But I want to read this, Jeff, for folks that, are in Big Rapids now that weren't here back in the day, and your accomplishments is quite remarkable. It says, Jeff Pierce, football, 74 to 2011. That's a lot of years. A Bulldog football alum, Pierce was a mainstay in the Bulldog program, first as a player and later as a coach. After playing at Ferris State from 1974 to 77 and graduating from FSU, he joined the Bulldog staff in 1983 under then head coach Nick Coso. That's something, played for him and coached with him. He later served as defensive coordinator for 7 years, helping construct one of the country's top units in early to mid-90s for Coach Keith Otterbein. Later on, went to Hillsdale and made that program. His 1992 FSU defense led the NCAA Division II in points allowed per game, while his 94 unit was tops in the NFIFC. Pierce then went on to serve as head coach at Ferris State for 17 seasons, becoming the program's all-time winningest head coach at the time with 102 career victories. He guided the Bulldogs to 3 GLIAC championships, 2 NCAA Division II playoff bids, and an appearance in the national semis in 1995, which I'm going to talk about that in a minute, which at the time represented the highest finish in program history. Pierce received the MIFSC Coach of the Year honor in 1995 and was a longtime ambassador for Bulldog athletics and FSU football in the Big Rapids community and across the state. After departing from Ferris State, he later served as assistant coach in the GLIAC at then fellow conference member Northwood University. I want to talk about the 1995, though, semifinals was in Alabama. And I went down there with, I hope I don't forget anything, it was Bill Taylor, Bill Shively, John Sontag, and Dean Leach, and myself. And believe it or not, we're all alive to this day. We did make it down there and back. It was a remarkable task considering who I was with. But it was a memorable one because in 1995, my dad, or 94, found out he had cancer and he only had a few months or whatever. But anyway, we went to all the games. It didn't matter if it was Marquette, wherever. My dad was a football fan along with his friends. So anyway, it was a memorable year for my son Matt and Adam, and my dad and I. We went to a lot of games, and my dad got to see this championship team. And then it came to flying out with the team. So many tickets were left. And I bought 2, one for my dad and one for myself. Well, then I thought, you know what? Matt needs memories of my dad a little bit further, so I put Matt on that plane with my dad, and then I rode down and drove down with the Sontag Shively group. But we got down there, and the story was the air strip was very short. And they were all kind of scared going in. Ed, you were on that plane, weren't you?
No, I was not.
Yo, you weren't playing in that game?
No.
Oh, that was after you.
Yeah, but we do have one of the players that was on that team that just called in, Eric Woodhouse, and he'll know a little bit more about it than I would.
Oh, good, yeah. And I love Eric. You know, he was a great guy too, and he was a big part of that big championship team, wasn't it? Yeah, Eric
he was part of that defensive line we had.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Well, Eric, you there?
I'm here. How you guys doing?
Well, good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm hanging out here in sunny St. Clair Shores, Michigan, listening to you guys on YouTube, and I said, "Geez, I got to call in and say hi to the boys."
There you go.
Glad you did. Yeah, it's raining here.
Yeah, it's raining here. Monsoon, but we need it. We need it for the hay.
It's coming our direction, that's for sure.
Well, I want to ask you, first of all, in that 1995, that great championship year, going down there, the airstrip was pretty short. Tell us a little bit about that, because when I heard about it, I said, thank God I wasn't on there. Shit, they'd be giving me drugs to get me back on. Well, it was pretty scary, wasn't it? I know I can't. I did, though.
Absolutely. I'm not one for heights anyway, as it is. And coming in, it was a little bit short, a little bit tight, and you stick your head down and pray to the Lord.
Yeah.
We got there all right.
I know they stopped just before the hangar, they said.
Yeah, the interesting thing was that when I started asking why the fire department was out there, and everybody was
Oh, wait a minute, we got AM/FM on here. Just meant Jeff.
The guy told me there's a little bit of Southern hospitality. He goes, well, we don't normally land planes of this size in here, so we just wanted to be safe in case you go
Jeff's
off the end of the
talking.
runway. And that was quite interesting. Welcome to Alabama.
All right, Eric, what were you saying then?
I was saying, if you ever had the opportunity to fly with one of our teammates, Jeff Schmitz, on one of his planes, that was nothing as far as the flight was concerned. Jeff Schmitz was a linebacker for the team, and he was known for breaking up the kickoff.
The wedge.
Team, he was breaking up the blockers, and Schmitty's one of those wild guys, and he took up flying, and I took a couple flights with him, so those old flights weren't much of anything.
You guys were all remarkable young people, and you've all turned out pretty well and all pretty successful. What part of life do you contribute to your success, Eric? What changed your life? Did anything change your life? You said, wow, I'm a winner and I can do this. My confidence grown now. And, like last night at the Little League baseball game, little Jack was kind of struggling at the bat a little bit, and he made a 3-run homer last night, and you could just see his confidence come back. You know what I'm saying? So sports does a lot for a person and a young man and a young kid or whatever. But I think it's very important, and I think that Coach Pierce, more than just was a coach, he was instrumental in guiding you guys all to where you are today, don't you think, Eric? And we're not blowing smoke here either.
No, 100%. Throughout my football career, obviously, which ended after college. Ended in college. I look back at all the coaches that have coached me, and every one of them have instilled something within me that made me be a better man, made me be a better person, and that's starting from grade school to high school and then to college. And you take a look at Otter, Coach Pierce, and Coach Wilson, Dwayne Wilson. Those three guys in my college career were instrumental in making me be a better person, making me strive to be something that you would only imagine as a kid. Push to the next level, be better, work your butt off. Nothing is given to you for free in this world, that's for sure. And they instilled that in us, that, hey, if we're going to be anything, if we want to start winning, if we want to be a successful football team, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the time. And that has rung true throughout my entire life and throughout my career. I've been a financial advisor for 30 years, and the stock market being up and down and over and under and everything going on, there's a lot of adversity out there, and it's the same exact thing on the football field. You know, I remember playing next to Ed Philion, and Ed was obviously an All-American, the best guy I could play next to. And I always laughed because I had Ed Philion, Jim Lenz, and Chad Richards on the defensive line with me. And those guys took all the heat. You know, those guys got all the press. Those guys were the All-Americans. I played with 3 All-Americans. They left. I was kind of running free out there, just having fun. But Ed told me, and this came from Dwayne Wilson, and this came from Coach Pierce as our defensive coordinator at the time, and then Otterbein on the way down. They said, hey, it's not going to be easy all the time. We're going to be graduated, and you got to take the reins. You got to take the next step. You got to be the leader out there. And, you know, it rang true through our entire team that, hey, we've got to maximize our rate of return. We got to maximize what we can do out there. And I wish there was a National Coaches Day. I always say, you know, we have National Hot Dog Day, National this day, National that day. National Coaches Day. Coaches are so important with kids' growth nowadays. It's not mentioned enough.
Yeah, you're so right there. Now, you brought up Otterbein. How many years were under him? 1 or 2? Otterbein.
2 years with Otter.
How about you, Ed?
2 years with Otter.
All four was with Coach Otter, and then I left, and then Jeff took over after Keith went to I think Ball State or Miami of Ohio or something.
Yeah, Ball State.
Yeah, Ball State.
And Muncie, yeah. So those 2 coaches were instrumental in, and you had both of them then as head coach, Eric?
Yeah, that's right. Otter for 2 years, and then Coach Pierce for 3 years after that.
All right, so similarities and differences. What were the differences in those 2 coaches style-wise? Because now you're used to Otterbein, but actually Pierce was your coach because you're on the defensive side, right? So you really probably were under his wing most your 5 years or whatever you played there. But did you see a big difference, or did Jeff kind of come in and kind of take over what Ott started in his philosophy in football and the way he treated you guys, or did you see a difference in coaching style?
I think as far as the philosophy and the coaching style, they were pretty much hand in hand. They were very, very close in their coaching style and how they handled the team. The difference was intensity. Coach Pierce was one of the most intense coaches I've ever had. We waited patiently during warm-ups and so forth for the pregame speech from Coach Pierce. And it got
right
to a
before you
point
go out.
where, you know, it got to a point where, you know, it was just a defensive thing. And it got to a point then where the offense said, hey, we want to be in on this pregame speech to get us going.
Oh, wow.
And the intensity, the difference there was night and day. Coach Pierce was much more of a fiery coach, get at him, whereas Otter was a little bit more cerebral, a little bit more quiet in the pregame stuff. But as far as their coaching style, how they handled the team, pretty much hand in hand there.
Yeah. Otterbein, he was sharp on the offense, wasn't he? I remember when he coached, Pierce was defensive coordinator. Barry Fagan, I think, was in there too, right? Barry?
Yeah, he was the offensive coordinator at the time.
Yeah. Boy, and then Dwayne Wilson. You guys had 4, like you say, Coaches Day. All 4 of those guys would be in that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, Dwayne would put in that time in the off season as well. There was a group of us that would stay in the off season. He was working at the lumber yard.
Right.
Because back then they weren't paying the assistant coaches a whole lot of money.
Right.
And he would train us in the during the summer, and we get that extra work in the summer. But yeah, I'll second that. Dwayne was a big part of it. He was a former offensive tackle, played in the USFL, the old USFL. And when he came, he had that mindset mentality. Was kind of laid back, gave you room to grow, but also, you know, inspired you. Just his character. you know, and how he was as a human being. And he was a perfect defensive line coach. And then, you know, I'll just kind of second what Eric was saying as far as the coaches. Philosophy-wise, very similar. But when Jeff would get going, he has a defensive mindset, and you would wait for that jugular to start popping out on his neck.
Right. I can see it. Yeah.
And then you would have Coach Otter. He has an offensive mind, a little bit more laid back. So, yeah, it was a great. They complemented each other, and it really worked for us.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break here. Bobby's giving me a timeout time here. A quick one. Eric, stay on the phone, will you?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we're just going to thank our sponsor here, and we'll be right back. Jeff,
when was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout or worse. Visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town.
Looked at Curries.
Hey, I go to Curries for dinner now, and I want to tell you something. Their sandwiches are incredible. But get the cheeseburger with caramelized onions. You won't ask where the beef is. We are open till 7 p.m.
All right, Bob, we're back. Ed Philion's with me here in studio this morning. We got Eric Woodhouse from Detroit area, north Detroit.
St. Clair Shore.
Yeah. You know, I just want to throw this in for just a bit. You know, you guys, a lot of people come to Ferris and leave, and some come back and appreciate what they got and everything, or visit it after 20, 30 years. You football players, that era anyway, come back and really relive the days of old, don't you? And I remember that night at my house, it was you and Eric, you were over there, and Chad Richards, I think Billy Love.
Yep.
God, you guys, you know, I'm an old man now, and I look back at my life and memories. I have a lot of great memories having my children, marrying my wife, and my grandchildren. But you guys are in the top 5 in my life. You really are. And, you know, it's remarkable how you make those ties and those relationships with people, and even though they're far, far away, you still feel that unity. And Eric, you're one of those guys that I feel that with. You've always been appreciative of what you got here in Big Rapids. You've always respected people, and quite frankly, you don't realize it, but as you get older, when you see young people like you recognize people like me that you don't need in your lives. I'm old now, and I'm not saying I'm going away tomorrow, but you guys make me feel good. Like, you know, you guys just didn't forget me. You guys don't forget people. And I think that has a lot to do with sports and that unity and that relationship. And then as we were talking there about you saying, you know, we should have a National Coaches Day, my light switch turned on, and I really think that this is possible to happen. But I think, you know, Coach Anise has done a great job here, and he's filling the stands up and getting a lot of support with alums and stuff like this. And I think the barriers are coming back together there. And I think it would be kind of cool to have Jeff, Barry, Dwayne, Keith, who am I forgetting? Dwayne. I said Dwayne.
Marcel Crothers was one of our coaches.
Yeah, right. Yeah, great guy. Yeah. And Butch Jones. But, you know, it would be kind of cool to honor these guys that started that program's history of winning. And next year, I'd like to see, I know Coach Anise is busy, but I think they have a marketing director up there, or a coordinator to the events, to see if these guys could come back and honor them on a day when they play at Ferris.
Well, just, you know, we talk about Coaches Day, but the community is itself here in Big Rapids. It started with Kenny Hicks. I remember, big supporter back in the day.
Right.
Pat, you've always been a big supporter. Rex Huber, who's getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. So this community has always come together for the football program. Not only the football program, but volleyball, hockey. It's a strong community that supports its local athletes, and it trickles down into the high school level. You know, I've been here for a year now, and I really feel, you know, it's probably the closest community I've been a part of outside of where I grew up. You know, and I've been to a few places and lived and spent some time. So
Yeah.
the community itself, along with the coaches, are a big part of the success here at Ferris.
Yeah. Yep. Did you get to a game last year, Eric? I missed you if you did. Did you come
Yeah,
up?
I would agree with that 100%. I mean, when you take a look at the support that we had, when I came to Big Rapids, I was from the Detroit Catholic League, which was a big sports community, right? And Brother Rice, Notre Dame High School, where I went to, and De La Salle, and Catholic Central, and Bishop Gallagher, and just a great program, a league as its own. And I went to, I did my recruiting trips, and I said, I went to Central, Northwestern, and then the Saginaw Grand Valley Ferris State situation. And I was kind of like, Division II football, and I don't know what this is all about, and so on. And as soon as I stepped foot on campus, you just felt the love. You felt the love from the community. The community was there for you. Pat, yourself, and like you said, Ken Hicks and Schuberg, and all the guys there, the Curry, everybody. Curries, the gas station there was kind of a central hub. You just, you felt it. You felt the love of the community, and that's something that. And then when we started to play, and all the guys from the older teams would come back, and you kind of look at them and say, now I'm one of those guys. I'm one of the old guys that has my jersey on, and excited to go to the games and so forth, and see you guys, see you, Pat, and see the rest of the guys, Sontag and all the guys in the community. It's a great community, and I've built some great relationships.
Yeah, you can't forget Shibley.
That's for sure.
Bill Shibley, I tried to get him to come out here this morning, but he had duties that Lynn had him do this morning, so he couldn't come on. But Bill's a big supporter, man. He's been to every game. I don't think he missed a game in the last 30 years. Yeah, you got a lot of support here in Big Rapids, that's for sure.
I see him out there in Sontag, out at Clear Lake all the time. That's another great
saw you
spot
yesterday.
as well. Yeah.
You folks out there in Wonder World, we got Ed Philion in here and Eric Woodhouse from downstate there, and Jeff Pierce, the coach, being inducted into Hall of Fame, and that's what this is all about, is recognition for a coach. But I think Jeff would say this too. If it wasn't for those players that bought into his program, he would not be talked about to this day. It's like a good horse, a good horse will make a driver
Pat,
and trainer.
there's no question about that. It's about people. And the one thing I look at, you take care of people and they'll take care of you and your program. And, you've got to be willing to go out and do whatever you can to help a person. And that reflects back to the people and reflects back to what they do. And it was really a pleasure now to watch these guys go on and do the things, you guys were just talking about, do the things successfully in life. That success has just opened another chapter in their lives, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah. They sure are. I look at Ed sitting in the studio. He went to school here in, like they say, mid-'90s and left to go to play for Buffalo Bills, and then went on to play for another, what other teams you played for, Ed? But then I remember talking to him on the phone. His son wanted to come to Ferris and play here, which he did for 4 years, or 5. Brett there, now he's over in Grand Haven, getting married this year. But they were up from Quebec, Montreal, folks. And Ed was from Windsor, Essexville.
Yeah, Essex. Yeah.
And my whole point of this is what Big Rapids means to you. Brett came to Big Rapids and sat at my kitchen table, had no idea who he was going to meet tomorrow or whatever. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take you around town, introduce you to some people. We gave him a job at the gas station, place to live. And I says, the sad thing about this whole thing is, Brett, is a blink of an eye, you're going to be graduating before you know it. And he brings that up often to me, and that's why I always tell people, live with love, man, not hate, no regrets. Just live with love every day, and your life will be so much better. that being said, anyway, as time goes by, Brett falls in love with Brad Fast's wife, daughter. Yeah, his wife too, Grace, and they're getting married here in August. And well, it won't be long before we're going up to the bachelor party up to your place, Jeff. But see, and that's the relationships you guys made. Anyway, Ed, being away from it for quite a long time, calls me up, and the day he came to town with Brett was like you never left.
Right.
You never left. And eventually he says, I'm retiring from coaching the CFL up there, and Ann's a school teacher, so she put her name in, and Big Rapids made the right choice, hiring her at the middle school. And Ed said, we're going to move to Buffalo, Orlando, or Big Rapids. And so when you people sit there and say, well, we're not drawing people to Big Rapids, well, we do these people. Ed, tell us why you picked Big Rapids over those other towns.
Well, the community. Obviously, we had some people in place that we knew, and we were familiar with, and that welcomed us with open arms. And we spent the 4 years where Brett was in school, just coming up periodically every two or three times a year, and we would just continue to meet people. And my wife fell in love with it. She was the one I had to convince. Right. I knew it because I went to school here, but she was coming in as a kind of a bystander. And she thought it was a Hallmark movie scenario for herself with the community here. Yeah. So she applied for a job, I think, on a Friday, got interviewed on the Monday, and then was hired on the following Friday. So a week from the interview process or the application process to the hire, and then it was a mad scramble to get all our stuff together in Montreal there and move across the border. And so everything worked out. But we love the community, and she's a big part of it now.
I remember she said to you the first time she visited here, she said, it's a little Hallmark town here.
Right.
Right.
And I asked her, what is that? And she showed me the show. And
So, I mean, we like our little town, don't we, folks? I hope that's making people put a smile on their faces. But, I was out to Ed's. I got to tell you this quick story. I was out in Montreal, never been there before. We were out visiting Maine and this and that, the Vaudrys and us. So we're leaving his penthouse, is what you called it, right? Beautiful little place, but nothing like you liked. You didn't like that, really.
No, I didn't. It was a transition for us.
Yeah. Right. So we're going to go home. And I said, well, Ed, what do you think? He goes, well, if I was you, I'd head back to Sarnia. I'd take the 403 or whatever it is, the 401 or whatever. 40s, whatever. And I'm looking at the map, and I said, well, this 7 goes across to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. I says, it looks to me like it would take the same amount of time, and it's beautiful scenery going through that way, and it doesn't look like it takes that long to go across. Oh, no, Pat, no, it's longer than you think. It's 2-lane. I don't think you want to go that way. Well, the positive was it was a beautiful trip. The negative was about killed us. It was the longest 12-hour drive across country for trying to get, and we got to Michigan that night about 2. But I did see the first moose I've ever seen in my life, probably be the last one, hit a car out there. For you folks to just see it on TV, you got to see it in real life. These moose have legs that are 8 feet tall.
Yeah,
it was huge.
Yeah, they're at about the top of a car level, basically. Yeah, they're big up there.
Okay. But anyway, we had a great trip out there. But anyway, we're glad to have you here. But anyway, Coach, back to you a little bit. What's it mean to you to be inducted to the Hall of Fame at Ferris State University?
Oh, it's a great honor, and I guess when I look at it, I go back to the people, and it's an honor for all of the guys that were involved during that time frame. And that's what I've always believed in is, you surround yourself with good people and good things will happen. And, we were able to do that. And I enjoyed Big Rapids. I mean, I made the decision to stick around there as long as I could. And I raised my boys there. And I look at them in their lives, that was a good choice. I mean, because they grew up in an environment that was very grounded and good. So, I mean, it's a real honor to be part of the group of the Hall of Fame and all the guys that and the people in the community, just like Ed was just saying and Eric was just saying. I mean, when you come into that community, people bring you in with open arms. Pat, you with you're with your business. I mean, there's a lot of places you can buy gas in Big Rapids. Well, why do people come to your place? It's not because the gas is any better than somewhere else. It's because of the people that are there and people that'll take care of you. And but that's a great time in my life.
So, any regrets at all, Jeff? Of the years that you coached, any regrets at all? Anything different that you would do? I don't see anything different that you'd do. I mean, you accomplished so much as written here, but you look back at your career. The other thing I want to ask you is how does a person know that's what you want to do? Why would you want to do it? Because, there's a lot of heartaches and just, I mean, there's ups and downs in every business, that's for sure, but what made you really think that you wanted to be a coach?
Well, I guess it's a day-by-day challenges. You have to have a passion for what you're doing, and then when you look into the eyes of the people that are with you, and if they're all in, and if you can, and that's a big part of the coaching. I mean, you got to, get good people in your program, and you got to try to get everybody going in the same direction. And that was another thing that I was able to spend 30 years with 110 or 15 people, and it's a matter for you to be successful, or for the program to be successful. You've got to get all of those people going down the same road together, and there's a lot of different personalities, and there's different, people from different backgrounds and different environments and stuff like that. So that's, that's the unique thing. Today, it's kind of nice. Yeah, the hard part of it is the stress, because the expectation that everybody has, at the very beginning, there wasn't a high expectation because no one was used to winning. And then when you get to that level, it makes it more challenging, because now the expectation is, well, even if it's a close game or you lose a game, it's just like, it's like, what's going on here? Is it falling apart? Well, that other team has scholarship players too, and they kind of want to win also. But you've got to keep moving forward and keep doing the right things, and that's the one thing that I always say: do the right thing. I mean, when you make a decision on how you're going to handle a situation, what's the right decision? And you live with that. Don't start trying to think about what someone else is going to view it as or whatever. Do the right thing, and things will take care of themselves. So I'll have to admit, though, after being out of the game for a few years, and I got my fishing boat connected to the back of my vehicle right now, and I got all my gear in it. And in about 4 hours from now, I'll be sitting in a log cabin on Lake Superior that my grandfather built 100 years ago. And I don't have anybody asking me questions out there. And the nice thing about it is my cell phone, the reception up there is not the greatest. So you can always, when people try to call you, say, well, I'm sorry I didn't get that call. And that's kind of nice. But
you had a lot of great accomplishments here. Looking back, what was your greatest one? Not talking now, we're leaving your wife out, because I know she's the number one in your life, and your children are right there up there top two. But in your football career, what one memory do you have that was the pinnacle of all the accomplishments you had? And what year was that in? You have one specifically?
As far as exact years and exact accomplishments, I guess I look at when we were able to become a national contender, and that was.
Game was that? What game? What game do you remember?
Years there, and that was something that. For many years at the beginning of my career at Ferris as a player and early years as coaches, that wasn't even close to being a reality. Well, it became a reality, and that's how we lived, and that's the expectation that we had in front of us, and that's what we battled for on a daily basis. It doesn't happen on Saturdays. It happens during the preparation leading up to that, and having guys that are committed to doing that. So that I guess would be one thing. And the other thing that stands out in my mind, sometimes people look and say, oh, you're just a bunch of football players. Well, we had a couple of years in a row, we had the top scholar athletes in the country that were football players. And I went to the Waldorf with Mike Klobuchar and Susie and I and his family, and he was honored as one of the top scholar athletes in the United States in football. And you're sitting there and you're looking at all of these Division I guys and stuff like that, that are there, and some of the coaches that are there that you've seen on television and all that other stuff. And and it comes back as, and Jake Visser got it the next year, and, it comes back to, you're developing people. And I've always, my grandfather that I mentioned about building the log cabin, he was a principal of the junior high school in Sault Ste. Marie for many years. And we were always, it's about education. It's about helping people be successful later on in life. And you had the conversation, and Eric was talking about, what it meant to him and stuff like that. It doesn't matter what sport you're in. If you're in a competitive arena, it's a learning experience every day. And sometimes you learn more from the losses, because when you get knocked on your butt, it's like, do you really want to be there? And it's like, if you do, well, that's an issue. But if you don't, well, you better figure out how you can keep on your feet and keep moving forward, or life's going to go right by you. And that's where sometimes with all of the business being involved, with athletics, college athletics right now, I'm not all in favor of. So, because it should be about education, and it should be about people being able to go out and make this world a better place.
All right, Eric, question to you. Do you have a highlight, the greatest memory of being here in Big Rapids at FSU playing football?
Yeah, a couple things, and I'm going to have to wrap it up here in a second.
So are we.
And actually get to work, but a couple things. Yes, number one, Coach Pierce, congratulations. I love you. You're a fantastic coach, and you deserve this Hall of Fame induction. I've been wondering where it's been the last couple of years.
Right.
As far as memories, my memory, is the snowball, right? The culmination, the final game, my senior year.
Wow.
Just a fantastic football game. We were getting our butts kicked, and I remember going in at halftime and sitting there with the coaches and everybody looking around, and Mike Brooks was my roommate, and Brooks, he looks at me and he's like, we got to do something. We got to do something here. We're not going to go out losers. That's for darn sure. And we came out in the second half, and we put it to them. We put it to them good, and it was led by the defense, led by Coach Pierce, led by Mike Brooks, led by Keith Thompson, myself, Jeff Bro, all the guys. We took it on us and said, hey, no crying, no BS. We're going to win this game. And we came back, and that was my memory. That was my memory, and it'll stick in my head forever. Outside of that, as Coach Pierce was just saying, I only remember the losses that we had in the playoffs. I don't remember a lot of the wins in the regular season. Maybe some Grand Valley wins here or there, but the losses stick out way more than the wins do. Because you learn from them. You learn from them, and you learn your mistakes, and you get better, and you get better. So I want to leave it at that. Coach
All right.
Pierce, you're a great guy. Love you. And also, rest in peace to John Smith. He was a big part of the community as well.
Thank you.
Love John as well.
Yeah, thank you, Eric.
Thank
I'm
you,
glad
buddy.
you set up because John was very important to Big Rapids and the Ferris State University. He really got involved with Big Rapids, and he is a great loss to this world. Let's talk about a few more players. We got a few more minutes. I'd like to recognize Scotty Ward. Scotty played with you, Ed?
Yep.
Did he play with you too then, Eric? Scotty Ward?
Yeah, absolutely. Scott
Yeah.
Ward, yep. The offensive lineman, we had to go against them. Ed and I had to go against them every single day in practice. So, yeah, absolutely.
Chad Richards, was he on defense?
Yeah, Chad was.
All right.
Larry Pierce was another good offensive lineman we had.
Talk
Tom
about all your
Atwell.
team. Talk about your line right now.
Yeah, I mean, our offensive line set the tone for Billy. He was able,
Right.
because Billy wasn't the most agile.
Right.
You could get rid of the football pretty quick, but
Yeah, he
they
was
did
a
a
good
great
passer.
job of protecting them.
Yeah.
And then, we had receivers that made catches. Pat
Mm-hmm.
Pettit was one of those guys, catches that, in traffic area. I remember one time in Wayne State, I saw him get hit so hard. And, this was before cannabis was legal, and I thought I saw a smoke plume come out of him when he got hit. He got hit so hard.
Really?
Yeah, so he would go in traffic. I mean, there was just so many guys that made that team. And I just want to reiterate what Coach Pierce said about the journey. I think for me, that's the biggest memory. The fact that we took a program that was a 500 program, our first couple years, and then once that transition was made, and to have everybody involved, everybody had to do their part, grab their part of the rope, as that to me is the biggest accomplishment and biggest memory, I think, here at Ferris, is being able to turn that and then see what the program's done from them. And, everybody's involved in that. The community, the players, coaches, everybody.
And, that's so true in business. I just want to touch on that. At my place at the gas station, I always tell my help when I hire them, I'm only as good as you're going to make me look.
Right.
We got to play as a team. If we can't play as a team and you can't play with the team players, you're out of here. But now Jeff Pierce, he was in there too, or not Jeff Pierce, Jeff Schmidt.
Yeah.
He played with you or Eric?
Yep. Jeff came in, I think, at my junior year.
Troy Cowell.
Troy Cowell was there.
Was he with you?
He was
or?
there, yep.
Remember him, Eric?
He went off.
Oh,
He
Eric.
had- yeah,
He had to go to work.
WBZX
Yeah.
Big
Like
Rapids.
you should.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
He's got another 3 hours. Let him.
Well, no. I just these guys meant a lot to Big Rapids. These football players today that are playing right now.
We can do a part two, That's
They're
and three.
getting to be a part of Big Rapids too. We got a lot of people that come in the gas station that are proud because they come in with their football emblem on, FSU football, and I'll talk to them about playing, and they know they like that. Just like you did, you like to be recognized, and I thank them for being a championship team. What that recognition they've given to Big Rapids. I mean, Coach Pierce did a great job. He started the tradition. Otterbein actually started the tradition, and Jeff made it even better. Then Tony Anise, look what he's doing today. I mean, hats off to all three of those coaches. They're all Hall of Famers. I mean, Coach Otterbein went on down to Ball State and ended up in his alumni matter at Hillsdale and did a great job down there. And more importantly, all you guys, and I mean this, Eric, you and Jeff Schmidt, Kurt Dabowski, Scotty Ward, you see him on Facebook, how proud he is of his girls, and rightfully so. They're gymnastics, and they're just a family down there. And you, Ed, with your kids, you guys have all become responsible adults, and I think football had a big part of that, making you guys into what you are today. And the world's a lot better place because of people like you guys, and getting the relationships with you guys that almost bring tears to my eyes, because I wasn't a football player. I wasn't meant to be a football player, but you guys accept me for who I am. That's the other thing football players do. They accept people for who they are, not because they're built or if they're weaker or stronger. They accept them. I think it's just a great sport, and I think we have a lot of other great sports too, but we're talking football today. But we're honoring a guy, Jeff Pierce, for what he did for Big Rapids. A lot of young people here never heard his name. A lot of young people here never got to know him. But if you want to, you can listen to this program all day long, and you'll get to know Jeff Pierce, because that's the way he was. He was an inspirational man, not just in football, but in life.
Yeah, definitely a better man than a coach, and I'm proud to know him. I love him, and I'll see him at the end of June here for a little bachelor party for a weekend, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we went up there. I tell you, there is life after football. Jeff didn't know it, but divine intervention entered his life a few years back when he retired. And I think if you asked him today, it saved his life. I think that, as you get older, your heart gets weaker. I'm finding that out, and I know a lot of other people are too, but you just can't take the stress. You can't take that everyday push living. And I think it was divine intervention that said to him, it's time to go. And I think he'll say that too. I mean, he was involved.
Yeah, that coaching takes a lot out of you. I was in it for 11 years at the pro level and the university level, and it is a cutthroat business that it's a day-to-day thing. What have you done for me lately? So it does take its toll, and for him to be a part of this community and coaching staff for 30 years as a player and as a coach just speaks on how he's able to compartmentalize and make everything work, because that coaching business will chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah, Andy Brockman just got I call it promotion, man. It's a great one. He went to Central Michigan. I think he'll be very successful over there. And one day I was kidding him in the station. I don't know if we were having lunch or whatever, but he's truly a good friend too. And I said, boy, you got her made, don't you? And he pulled his sunglasses down. He says, you tell me. He says, I'm tired. His bag's under his eyes. He takes it serious. He's like a Coach Pierce, man. He puts 100% in it, and he's going to win. I mean, but he gave up a lot for that too, though.
Well, you can never turn coaching off. You're either recruiting or game planning. So it's a 365-day-a-year job, especially at the college level here.
Right. Yeah. Somebody just called me. I don't know. Maybe I should call him back. It might
Not
be
on the air. Let's
question.
go. Let's go, Pat.
No, I'm going to have to go. I got to call him back. Yes, Mother. It's 10 o'clock or 10 after 2. I probably got fired, folks, so it'll be the last day I'm on air. We want to wish Pete recovery down there in Grand Rapids. Pete Kent's down there at Mary Free Bed. He said if you need help like that, go to Mary Free Bed. He loves it. He said the great people down there, great food. God love you, Pete. We wish you a welcoming back to Big Rapids here hopefully this weekend. See you the next time.
When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout, or worse, visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town.